Most things aren't actually life and death. So that's the perspective we bring into everything. Our mind might think it's life and death because we're wired for survival. So we have to be able to calm and center, like in the storm, in the chaos, and the I don't know what to do here. Part of that, the answer might be vulnerability. It might be like the acknowledgement that I don't know what I'm doing here. Because a lot of us are trying to put out an image where we're trying to pretend like we've got it all figured out. Part
Yeah.
of it is like, well, if I haven't mastered this subject, there's going to be a lot of things that can throw me off. And in that place, there might be some aspects that I'm stumbling along. Yeah, maybe I blank when I'm like trying to speak about something. It's just this ability to be vulnerable and stumble through it can actually produce better results for us because we're being real with it. We're stepping out of the trying to project an image and we're just being present with the situation. That's all we're
Yeah.
trying to do when we regulate is we're trying to be present with whatever's going on. That means that there's going to be things that can pop up, but we can't account for all the variables. We can't possibly know everything that's going to happen. That's why we got to go do things and see what happens a lot of time. There has to be this willingness to stumble through things. That's actually how you grow because then afterwards you unpack it and you're just like, well, I wasn't prepared for that. Now I know where the work is. I know where I have to go figure this out.
You made me think of a couple things in that. One, the aspect of volume slash practice. You talked about like we're going to put ourselves in stressful situations as we work through this and see what happens. And what I was thinking of is I recently was watching a video where they were talking about how people become great at something and they were using like composers as the examples. It was like Bach and Beethoven and Chopin and all like that kind of thing. And they talked about the volume of work that they produced to become great. So I think about that a little bit. Like there's an aspect of that to this. Like you have to, this isn't a one and done. Like we have to go back and go back and do it again and do it again to actually fully get to that place. Because the second question that sort of came up for me was when you talked about you're going to be deep breathing, calming thoughts. I can remember situations where I attempted to use that topic and my own stupid brain would not believe the calming thoughts, right? Like it was
Mhm.
like, I got this, it's fine. And they're like, no, you don't. Nope, you don't got this. It's not okay. You're not going to be fine, right? So but it's like a muscle that you have to work.
Well, and the only way we get out of it is by feeling, to be honest with you, because it's if we have like some pretty intense limiting beliefs in there, like that might be the feedback we're getting, where it's actually we're battling ourselves in the moment. But it's working through that tension. It's continuing to stay present with it, being like, because emotions are waves. It's like they roll through us unless we stop them with judgment. So judgment is going to be in an instance like that, it could be like, oh, like I'm a failure, like I'm not good enough. I could start like hammering down the negative thinking and it slows the energy down. It like basically stops it. So now I'm all jammed up. And if the more intense that gets, I could kind of hit that paralyzing moment, right? Where I'm totally shut down or dissociated. And so our only shot is this ability to have that permission to feel the emotions as they're coming up and we acknowledge them. And as long as you can breathe into it and just stick with the neutralizing thoughts. That's why I prefer neutralizing rather than positive. So what happens with this is like if I have like an extreme negative belief and I try to give myself too much of a positive statement, my nervous system is going to be like, no, that's not true. And that's where we're going to get a tug of war, right? It's going to be a battle because I try to go too far from my current reality. And so my reality is going to be based on my beliefs.